Yeah. Well, we did a test today and it's not working. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. There was a little delay. A little delay. And Facebook is now live. So this is awesome. Hey, what's up? Welcome to TGJ Night. Friday Night Live. All right, sorry. TTJ Friday Night Live. And I think we are good to go. I just want to make sure that we are good to go. Yes, we are good to go. Let's get to it. Um, you know, this whole thing is very new, but I love what we're doing. And and for those who, are following us, I thank you for following us. So uh, for those who don't know me, I'm LMichaelBurt. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about breaking the illusion, creating your purpose after disruption. And this week, we're talking about healing. And healing is not a straight line. And we're talking about healing in a way where you've you've had some kind of disruption in your life, or you had some kind of trauma in your life, and you're looking to really heal from all of that. Okay. And tonight is for anybody who really is saying, I was doing good or I was doing better in my life, coming from the past when you say I'm doing better, but you say I was doing better, then anxiety showed up, or I was doing better and then sadness hit me again. We all have our emotions, right? Or you were doing better and then you got triggered by something or someone, and you didn't like who you became in that moment. Things happen, right? Again, we're human. Or you were doing great and then heaviness showed up, right? So I would say that right there is the moment, the illusion of the past, it continues to show up for you, right? Because that's, I believe, what I assert rather, is that when people start grading themselves, we always try to grade ourselves and say maybe I was like an A+ today, or a B or a C or a D. We grade ourselves, maybe not in the letters, but we put who we're becoming on certain emotions, right? You might start saying things like, man, I thought I was past this. I thought the past was in the past. Or you might start saying that maybe I'm not healed from the disruption or the trauma that I was going through. And maybe you're like, I thought I was going through all this and I was past all this, but man, I'm at the freaking beginning again. All right. So let me just kind of tell you something simple about all that, right? Um, Look, healing is not a straight line. Okay. Healing will have setbacks, but that doesn't mean that you're at the beginning. So if something shows up for you, has showed up for you in the past, or shows up for you again, I want you to really hear me here. Like, don't bring shame when those emotions show up. One of the things that I've learned and am learning is being non resistant. So when those emotions show up, just let them be what they are. And then you can really call them out as what they are. Just don't be run by them. Okay. And when those feelings show up, people use the word broken, right? You're not broken. Okay. What I assert is that that's your system, your nervous system bringing something up, that it's finally ready to process. Okay. Now, if I don't know if people here, because I can't see, I have all this other stuff going on. If you're in the chat, I hope you're here. Put in there where you're from, and you can type in like one word that describes what you're going through and what's going on inside of you right now. One word is good. Like I'm anxious right now, or things are heavy, or I'm irritated, or I feel shut down, or I'm numb, or I'm scattered, or I feel tense. Or you may be like, I feel calm, I feel clear. All right. And for people who are listening on the podcast, um, you can comment on whatever RSS platform that you're on, or would love for you to give a review as well. Or if you're watching the replay on any of the platforms, just just say, you know, replay, type replay, and say what it is that you're going through, what's going on with you on the inside. Okay. And I hope you guys like we've been working on things and we're trying to elevate. We're elevating, not trying to, we're elevating, and we got this little slideshow for you here. Okay. So the illusions we're breaking from illusion to truth. So here we go. Um, so what we're doing tonight is this. We're not going to turn this into a therapy session. I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach, right? I'm a coach, entrepreneur, podcaster, all that good stuff, right? Not a therapist. So we're not going to tell long stories. And what we're going to really get into is practicing our leadership of who we are and how we push ourselves, or not even push ourselves, but just be who we are in the messy middle, all right? Because the biggest illusion people live in during the healing is this, like you might still feel certain things, and because you feel those certain things you might say, man, I am not healed, or I must not be healed. And I would assert to you that that's not true. Okay. And what it is that, you know, healing isn't never feeling the thing again, because things, again, we're human, so you're going to have those emotions. But healing is when the memory can be there. But like I said in the clips, if you've been watching the clips on Instagram or Facebook, I've said this before. Healing is the memory, right? Or healing is when the memory can be there for you, but it doesn't drive the car, or you basically you don't allow it to di- dictate your being in that moment. So let's kind of make it real for you here. So when I say when a memory shows up and you don't spiral, right? That's what I'm talking about. Or a trigger can hit and you don't explode, or a heavy day can come and you don't collapse into the old identity. So when you're going through those things, that's healing. Right? You're healing from the trauma, you're healing from the disruption, and I'm speaking from experience, right? Not from something I heard from somebody else or that I read in the book or a book, right? So when you're going through that, that's healing. And the proof isn't that the feeling is has disappeared. The proof in all of that, in that middle space, this healing space, is that you can notice the feeling without becoming who you used to be. Okay. And you, you know, you what I was here's what I would say. The problem is when people feel something again. They don't just feel it. They start talking to themselves, or the mind starts going, right? And then you start speaking in your head and you're like, man, here we go again. Or I'm never going to change or transform. Like, or this is a big one. This always happens to me. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I'm at the beginning. And that self-talk right there, it turns a moment into a whole situation. And you start living in that idea of that's not even real. All right. You just made it up. Right. So tonight, I'm going to give you a simple practice you can use at any time that feeling shows up for you. All right. And like I said here, the feeling shows up again. The self talk starts. Here we go again. I'm back at the beginning. I'm never going to change. Right. I really like these little these slides here. I hope you like them too. Okay. So here we go. So what we're going to do is talk about naming the state. All right. Choosing the next move and then just making it happen. Because when you name the state of where you at, the state of being, the emotion, you can create distance. And when you have distance, you have choice. Because you're really, like with my client today, I was saying that she's really noticing who she's being in moments. And she's like, I'm looking at myself, I'm watching myself, I'm seeing myself. And that's awareness. That's a place of observance. And when you have that place of observance, you have choice. And when you have choice, you can continue to lead yourself through those moments when you feel like the old identity is showing up, or you're just not in the moment that you feel like you're being, you're making progress. All right. And I just really want to say this clearly. A hard moment, which we all have, it's not failure. And I've said this before, it's information, right? is your system saying, here's what still has energy, here's what still needs leadership, or here's what you're ready to handle now, but in a different space. Okay, all this stuff shows up. All right, and and you want to really allow yourself to just allow yourself to be in those spaces, but don't let it dictate who you become or who you be. Okay, so here's the practice, y'all. We're going to do a live practice. I want you to grab your phone notes, or whatever you do, a piece of paper, something simple, something easy. We're not going deep here, just a practice that you can use when when things like that show up, and you're that healing space. We're always in a space of healing from old things that show up, old traumas, old disruptions. So you know you never ever you do get rid of things, but things always show up. So this is the practice they can use when emotions from the past show up. Okay, so one line each. Just keep it simple, keep it clean, and like right here on the screen, just write it this way. My state right now is whatever your state is. Just pick one word. Don't make it complicated. Like we said earlier, like when you came in, said, am I heavy? Am I calm? Am I clear? Am I irritated? All those things. Just don't make it complicated. Okay. And then what you're going to do is write what triggered it, or what allowed you to allow that emotion to show up for you when you now say that things are heavy or whatever it is. What triggered it was a straight line. All right, keep it simple. You know, a lot of things trigger people: a text, a memory, a conversation, a bill. Some memory of a place, a thought, even a tone where somebody said something to you in a certain way, and you're like, you ain't who you talking to like that, right? So anything like that can show up for you, right? Now write this down, which is when I'm in this state, right? When I'm in this state, my default pattern is, that's number 3. When I'm in this state, my default pattern is, what do you usually do when you get triggered? Okay. Do you isolate? Do you scroll on social media? Do you snap at people? Or do you shut down? Or like what a lot of people do is you people please because you're overcompensating for something, right? Or do you overthink? Or what I used to, a portion of my life, what I did was just avoid, right? Tell the truth on yourself. That's between you and you, right? And then after that, you write down what my next move is in the next 2 hours is. Now, in this space right here, people want to make it complicated. Just don't make it complicated. It's not your whole life plan, right? We're not, hey, I'm not Ayanla Van Zant. This is not fixing your whole life, right? We're not fix your life. Just something simple, something easy. My next move in the next 2 hours is whatever that might be for you. Just your one next move. And it could look like anything, like a breath or a walk or a glass of water, an honest text to someone, one boundary that you're setting up for yourself, or just a small or a small action that interrupts the default pattern that shows up for you when those old emotions and old feelings or disruptive feelings show up. Okay. And then number 5, my 24-hour proof is, or basically what you're going to do in the next 24 hours, I will prove I'm leading myself by, right? One proof step, meaning, something that you can actually finish. Okay. Just make it simple. Whatever that next thing is in the next 24 hours to continue to lead yourself to your future identity, walk through this messy middle of healing and make it easy, something that you can actually finish. Very simple, okay? That is the practice. That is the practice, okay? Now, Again, it's going to make it very easy, very simple. Um, just the state, the trigger, the default pattern, the next move in the next 2 hours, and then the proof, the 24-hour proof that you've made it through whatever that emotion shows up. And what you do is you continue to do that over and over again, so that you can make that emotion that shows up flat. So it doesn't allow you to lose who you're becoming in this healing space. Okay? All right. Now, like I said right here, do something easy: water, food, a 10-minute walk, an honest text. You can read it here, a boundary, 10-minute on whatever the task is, or the phone down for 30 minutes. If you've been watching the clips, man, sometimes I take a nap. If I just got to get away for a minute and just breathe out and just take a nap. Okay. Now, just a quick coaching session for you. In these moments, what happens is in our minds we try to revert back because we kind of shame ourselves. Don't shame yourself. What's showing up is just information. Um, just what I remember, I was watching something or reading something. I can't remember what it was, but um, in my business, and one of my businesses, I have to do sales, right? And the story that I have around sales is that I hate it. But I heard somebody say, you know what sales is? I mean, what a no is, because I don't like to hear no. And I made that mean something. I don't now because I got that flat. But I was like, I hate hearing no. I hated hearing no. And when I heard someone say, this is a lady who was talking about something, she said, no, all it is information. A no is information. That's it. What happens is no, what we made no mean for us is that, I'm not good enough, or nobody likes me, or whatever the story may be. And the no is just a no, right? So in this process, don't make the next move too big. Just make it small. if you need if you need um, if you need to, also put a time on it. When are you doing it by? Or your default pattern is the past, right? Trying to drive you. And what we're doing is now leading yourself through all that and not letting the emotion or the default pattern, the old identity, speak for you. You get to lead it. All right. And when you get proof of going going through all of this in your last step 5, your proof, it's not about being perfect, right? Your proof is that you're a leader for yourself. Okay. Self leadership is one of the first mastery of becoming a leader for other people. So you want to start to lead yourself through things and just be there for yourself. Then when you show up for yourself over and over again through this healing space, you get to know yourself in a different way. You get to step forward into the identity that's calling you forward. And you're really stepping up into a new realm of being. Okay. And these steps might be, easy, simple sounding, but simplicity is probably the best way to do this thing. We sometimes as humans try to make things complex. I know I do. Let's not do that. Okay. Let's not make things complex. All right, family. Um, and if anything else comes up for you this week, you know, here's what I want you to stop doing. Stop turning a feeling into a verdict about who you are. I know, sometimes we just do that. When what I said earlier today was a feeling is like a weather system. It just moves right through you, you know. But if you let it drive the car, it starts making decisions for you, and you don't want to do that. It starts picking, your ideas, your tones, what you're making things mean. Somebody might say something to you, and you're like, "What you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? Your being just shifts. Okay, you don't want it to start, picking your actions, and you don't want it to start picking your future. You get to do that, you know. And that's why I keep saying, name the state, you choose the next move. And just to clarify some things about leadership, I talked about it earlier. Self leadership is when you can tell the truth about what's happening inside of you. That's why we started earlier by saying, what's going on inside of you. You know, you want to call that stuff out so you can create the space between you and the emotion, and then you could observe it for yourself. Okay. So self leadership is when you when you tell the truth about what's happening and you don't let it run your life, right? It sounds much like, this is anxiety, not I have it, right? This is anxiety, or this is heaviness, or this is irritation. And I'm still going to choose my next move from who I said I am. The future identity that I've created for myself is now calling me forward, right? Not from the mood or not from the trigger and not from the old pattern. Okay. So if you take nothing else from week 2, this week, healing is not a straight line. Take this. You know, you don't need a perfect day. You just need the next move, right? And the next move done with integrity can change your whole night. And when I talk about integrity, I'm not talking about in a space where right versus wrong, or wrong versus right. Not a moral situation, but integrity in the space of I'm doing what I said I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it by a certain time. Okay, and if you want something that you can, let me find it here. If you want something that you that you can use or sit with after these Friday Night Lives, I got a free chapter of the Empowered Path for you. Um, it's it's a practice that you can return to when your mind gets loud. You need to come back to yourself. And let me see. Here is the link for you here. Let me get it for you here. That is the link. Holla, holla, holla. That's the link for you. And that's for the first chapter there, okay? And I want you to stay with the Thrival journey, okay? We're coming to an end here. And stay with the Thrival journey on your RSS platforms. Like I said in the beginning, if you want to give us a rating, that'd be awesome. On YouTube, if you like what we're talking about, how we're building, give us a subscribe, give us a like. And Monday mornings at 7 a.m., we drop new episodes with guests every Monday morning at 7 a.m. And what we're doing also is doing it as a preview. And we have the chat open. I'll be there if you want to, communicate in the chat with me. And we'll do that while the live is premiering. Okay. And so I just want to say thank you for being here. I love you. Keep it simple this week. Name it, choose it, choose the next move, and then do the next thing. Okay. You're powerful human beings, and that's what I stand for in my life, in your life. And we can do this human life thing better. Okay. And Yvonne is calling in with the following question. Testing the future. Cam is off. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So now that you know that live, you can call in with a live question. I don't know how you. I guess are we going to test this live while we're doing this? Um, let's see here. I don't know if we're going to do it. There it goes. I can hear you. And what's your question?
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Hi, Michael. Thanks for having me on the show. Having a really
Yes.
great time. So I was curious to know when you talk about your, taking the 10-minute break to just relax your mind, what do you say to somebody who has a hard time taking that 10 minutes?
Um, I would ask like yourself, like why, what is it about you that you can't take 10 minutes? What's showing up for you that you can't take 10 minutes?
So basically, trying to understand what it is that's stopping me. Do you
Yes.
feel that sometimes that might hold a person back and maybe they just need to stop whatever they're doing and just go for it, take that 10-minute walk or that 10-minute break or meditate for the 10 minutes, whatever it is?
Yeah. So, if if you can't find the 10 minutes walk, do something that really allows you to take your mind off of the moment that triggered you or that showed up for you. It might be, playing a video game for a second, or something that's relevant to allowing yourself to really steady yourself and relax your nervous system. So what a 10-minute walk is just an example, but if you can't allow yourself to show up for yourself in that way, then I would say go within and look at like what's stopping you from taking that 10 minutes for yourself. That makes sense?
Totally. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for being here. All right. So that was amazing. Um, and that's the first time we did that. So this is amazing. So this is what we do. So continue to come on Friday Night Lives, and I look forward to seeing you here. And have an amazing, amazing weekend and the rest of the week. Y'all take care, and let's make thriving our new normal. Bye bye.